how would you break it down from your perspective
Oh, you mean the slapping video?
and your initial reaction when you first saw it? You know,
Like a Hollywood trick. I didn't think it was real.
right?
And I still don't know if it was real. I'm not sure. I guess my first reaction was kind of like I was thinking, I wrote down some notes here. Uh, what if Chris Rock were Christine Rock? That was what I was thinking. You know,
Mm,
if Will were Willa and Chris were Christine, the audience would have tackled Willa before he got on stage. So if Will had gone up and hit a female announcer, the cops would the audience would tackle him, and then the audience would rough him up, and the cops would come and arrest him on the stage, and they would take him off the stage. He would be humiliated publicly, lose his job. The crowd would go wild and clap. He wouldn't get an award. He wouldn't be giving a speech. The rest of the discussion would be about toxic masculinity and violence and how we need to stop this. Um, if Bill were Billa, every actor and announcer after would praise her as brave, strong, independent, fiery, sassy. Wouldn't, like I said, would not have been allowed to make a speech. He would have forfeited his Oscar award. He would never be allowed to attend the ceremonies again. Um, I said if Chris were Christine and Jada were John, Christine would never have fought for her man's honor. There would have been a standing ovation for Christine, right? For sure. Nobody would do anything except applauding her for slapping a man. And they would think to themselves, like, people, the discussion right now would be like, what did she do to make him so angry? Right?
yeah,
Like what did he do? So what did he do to make her so angry? If she slapped the guy, nobody would tackle her. Nobody would do shit. Nobody would talk about anything. And if Jada were John, people would crack up. Nobody would give a damn. Oh yeah, the bald jokes. Okay, maybe she has, what is it, alopecia? But a lot of guys have problems like that. A lot of guys are going bald. And nobody would have cared. Nobody ever asks if a guy has alopecia. Nobody cares about guys. Nobody cares why a guy is losing his hair. People laugh about that. They make jokes about that. Every movie, every book, every magazine, every school. Equality, right? And then it's time to, I was thinking it's time to start telling jokes about bald women, because a lot of women lose their hair and they can't take a joke, whereas guys have to put up with it their whole lives. You don't think that guys are not crying over losing their hair? My cousin lost his hair at 22. He was so embarrassed he could hardly look me in the face. He was staying at our house, he lost his hair real fast. When he was 21, he was almost bald, but when he was 22, he was so bald that he only had like a little strip of hair around the back, like a round strip that was like an inch long. It was totally bald all the way back. He just got bald
crazy.
super young, yeah. So nobody cares about bald men, but when women are bald, all of a sudden it's a huge issue, right? It's like, oh, the poor thing. I say, fuck that. Guys have terrible, women have no idea how bad it is for guys going bald, like how painful that is. It's one of the things nobody talks about. But there's so many guys that they really feel terrible about, especially if you're bald, short, and you don't have a big dick. Can you imagine? You're like the butt of every joke in every movie.
Yep.
And nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cries. Nobody raises you to a higher level. Nobody wonders if you have alopecia or some other problem. People just don't care. So that's what would happen. And the other thing is, if Jada were John, then John would be a cheating, lying, dirtbag, toxically masculine leech who lives off a woman's fame. Because Jada was just a shitty actress in a couple of shitty movies, and then Will Smith helped her to get into a few good movies, and then she quit acting, right?
Yeah.
So she,
Wait, before further ado, you have to, at the beginning of this if the genders were reversed, you have to link to it again like you did in our other conversation so that people can listen to it first, because it's straight gold.
Okay.
You absolutely nailed it. Like, it's so true. And it's so funny because the hypocrisy is insane,
Right. You know what I'm going to do?
They'll never admit it.
Yeah, I might even record this and put this in the beginning. Yeah. Because this is my first reaction, is that this is so ridiculous. Like, she's going bald. Oh, poor her. Like, all my friends pretty much go bald. It's so hard on them, right? Maybe I'll do an episode about that. It's like, it's so hard on guys. And then people just think, well, men go bald and they don't have any feelings about it. Dude, guys cry. Guys pay millions of dollars, and people make fun of them for trying, for getting like hair transplants. I never lost my hair, so I've never had to deal with it myself, but I have so much sympathy for my friends. And I have so many friends, and I know it's a very tough subject. Like, they don't want to talk about it, right? But it's a super painful thing for guys. And when women deal with it, all of a sudden, it's like a human rights violation. Women really should think about how inhumane they've been to men all these years. Because men feel like Jada. Except for the big difference is Jada's old. Jada's ancient. I'm talking about guys going bald when they're 20. Your guy's still a boy, and he's having to deal with thinning hair. Is really fucking hard. And also the way women are with guys are short. Oh my gosh. No empathy at all. Nothing. No sympathy. And when guys are not well hung, oh my God. Girls, half the jokes are about that. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think that, if these roles were reversed, it would be a very different, and also she's living off him, right? He's paying the bills, right? He got her into a lot of movies. He paid the bills all these years. She cheated on him openly, talked about fucking other guys on a TV show, and him not hitting the spot. What would happen if a guy said that about his wife? And she was the one paying the bills for him. Like, she was a famous actress and he was just a regular guy who's in a couple movies.
Crazy.
How would he be looked at?
Yeah. I mean, it just makes me think again of, like, bringing up, like, the insanity of just openly, like, publicly cheating on a guy and then embarrassing him in front of everybody. That type of thing doesn't just happen overnight, like, it gets to that point over time. Maybe It's probably a topic for another video, but guys have to realize somehow, it's like the frog in boiling water type of thing. You got dropped in and immediately you jump out. But if it just boils slowly, eventually they end up getting boiled to death. And you see it happen with people. Like, it sounds crazy. Like, guys are like, well, I would never let somebody embarrass me like that. But, then you see it happen to guys in your personal life, but they're too far in.
It happens.
They've already been broken down.
You are so right about that. That's why I tell guys, like, it's so important to talk about stuff, because you're boiling before you know it, the water's heating up around you and you don't feel it as a man. We're very forgiving in many ways, We need somebody to tell us, like, if a woman says no to sex, like, even once, you got to be not around her. Like, that's it. You can't be around her for a while, at least. You don't have to say much, but your presence is what you're giving her, right? She wants your presence. You can't give her that. You got to lay down the law right away. Do not let the water heat up. That's how we're going to end it. Don't let the fucking water heat up, guys. And at the same time, see, what happens is, I should say this. When you let it heat up, that's when guys get mean, because they get angry about all the mistakes they made and they feel embarrassed about it, like Will Smith. And they do something really embarrassing because they let it go too far. You got to stop it before that. All Will had to do was leave.
Controls that anger, right? In this case.
What's that?
The woman controls the anger.
Well, whether she does or not, he's making a fool out of himself too now. It's like all he had to do was follow the just as soon as she made a joke publicly, and she probably did a lot of stuff before that I would have recommended him leaving. And you just have to say, like, I won't put up with this, and you have to spot it right away. You can't wait. You have to be ready for your worst day kind of every day in a way. You can't
Yeah.
wait. You gotta say fuck it. This woman said this. You got to go to the bathroom. You got to think about it. You got to write it down. You got to send it to a friend. You got to like, don't ignore it. Wake up every morning and look at it. She said this.
Right.
Like, don't.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that is really, really important. What you just said, like write it down right away, because and like I was saying, for example, when we were driving together out west, I would say something, and it would just be kind of like a vague feeling, and then you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that definitely happened." So if there's like a vague feeling, you're like, I think maybe she just disrespected me a little bit. Write it down right away. Like if you even have the vague feeling, for most guys, like stop, go to the bathroom, write it down right away, because that vague feeling is probably much more serious than you think. Like those like subtle feelings that you feel, you're very advanced, Paul. So like these things, you sense them and you feel them more strongly, but most guys don't feel them as strongly.
Well,
So they have to really,
yeah.
really write it down and get it out so they can go back to it and not get gaslighted.
Well, that's why you need friends too. Because I've been able to help a lot of guys with that, because I spot it like myself. I can't let it. I know where it's going. I just like, no, I don't want to go down that cuck road. No, I won't. I will not go down that road of having an intimate relationship. It's not intimate. It doesn't, there's nothing good there. There's nothing good for her. There's nothing good for me. There's nothing there. There's nothing. That's a dead end road. And so that's how I've been able to avoid a lot of, marriage and a lot of bad things, because I spot things and I'm like, I don't know, man, you got to train yourself, because it's not natural. It helped that I've always had a lot of women. So I was able to, I had other women to kind of come over. Like one of them would leave and I could call another girl over, right? So it made it easier. Like I could say, hey, another one comes over and I'm just like, and then I kind of like realized like, whew, damn, glad I got out of that situation. I'm thinking to myself, and I got this new sweet girl who's totally in a good mood. And oh yeah, that's one other thing I was going to say, is that this Will Smith guy, he is not a loser. All he has to do is leave this girl, learn his lessons, lick his wounds, and there's going to be tons of other girls laying down. Life is going to be good for Will. And, it's not over. He just made a mistake. He didn't make the right decision when he needed to. You can read into it, this and that and all. Everybody can be destroyed, you guys. Every man has his kryptonite. Don't get so high on your horse that you think you're better than Will Smith and you'd never do that. This Jade is dangerous, you guys. He fell into this. It wasn't good. It was ugly. It was public. But as long as he gets his shit together, life is kind of like virtual reality. I've had so many second chances and third chances and 10th chances and 100 chances in life. You just can't carry around your old self-image. You got to be able to pick yourself up, fucking move on to the next, and just fucking move on. Don't let yourself be destroyed by something. Because there's no reason. Nobody else cares. Nobody thinks you're destroyed. If Will Smith, he leaves this bitch forever. He learns his lesson. He laughs about himself. He picks himself up. Trust me, that guy's got a good future. He's got a good future. He's not damaged goods. He's not destroyed. But if he stays with her, don't be surprised if the worst happens. Because she's got his number and she's grinding him down into the ground. So don't let anybody do that to you. And don't do it to anybody else. All right, we better go because it's been a long time. But fuck, thanks for being on, dude. That was a good one. I'm gonna put that part in the beginning for sure.
Yeah, perfect. All right, man. Sounds good. Well, good chatting, and see you for the summit in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks away, guys. If anybody's coming, Austin Summit, add me on Ronin free on Telegram, and let's plan a way to get your ass there, get a sleeping bag, and it's going to be good. All right, talk to you guys soon.